he's getting into the exploratory process, and he's talking about how it's something he's talked about quite a bit, I guess, throughout the book, that you start at a level that's like a story, and then you can get to a higher level of abstraction about the lesson in the story.
Yeah,
That sort of thing. So he says, it was Freud's genius, despite his manifold errors, to bring what Shakespeare portrayed dramatically up one level of abstraction toward the philosophical or even the empirical. Freud moved information about behavior from the implicit narrative to the explicit theory, or at least to the more explicit theory. So I threw that in there so we could see kind of a concrete example of what he's talking about, where he took different ideas from Shakespeare in the stories, and then he said, like, this represents...
Freud did.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Freud's super complicated. He's got a lot going on.
Really? I just didn't know that he took stories from Shakespeare. So to kind of water this down, Freud actually took the stories from Shakespeare and abstracted what the essence of that story was.
Yeah.
And then what did he do with that? Or did he just do that?
Jordan Peterson specifically said that he moved the information about behavior from the narrative to explicit theory. So he's taking how the people are acting in the story and saying, here's a theory about how people work.
Gotcha. That's really interesting that he would do that with a work of fiction. I mean, it makes sense, right? But at the same time, I feel like it doesn't track. Well, I haven't read many Shakespeare stories. I think I've read like 1.5, to be completely honest. But to my understanding, like, I get where he's getting at, like, what is the essence of the character, but I feel like a lot of these characters are very far-fetched.
So, just so that people know, I learned every Shakespeare play when I was in high school, because I was on academic team, and it was like a trivia thing, so we just had to... Yeah, we had to learn a lot.
I'm still sick, so...
Right. Well, yeah, so we had to learn a lot of stuff. So I have some background in Shakespeare. Obviously, he was hugely popular, and I think part of the reason for that was because he got at things that were relatable to people.
Right.
So, like, a lot of people know Hamlet. And
yeah.
Hamlet's thing was his uncle killed his dad.
I think that's the one I read, Hamlet.
Yeah, and he's just trying to pretty much figure out what to do, and he goes about it in some weird ways, but, like, that's relatable to everybody. And even if they're so out there with what they're doing, I mean, it could even be an exaggerated version of what we might do in a lot of these stories, and I think that just makes it relatable. So Freud could go about it and say, like, obviously these things were hugely influential, pretty much like what he's doing with the myths, Jordan Peterson, is these things were obviously super influential. I want to kind of figure out why, and maybe he thought that something had to do with the behavior of the characters.
Gotcha. See, I feel like I'm having a hard time. I mean, like, I get it. I definitely get it. I just feel like it's very outlandish. Have you seen The Boys?
No.
You know nothing about it?
Superheroes.
I was trying to relate it to a little bit more pop culture, so, like, normal people could understand Mr. Shakespeare.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, even if you dumb it down, like I said, what it really is he's trying to deal with acting towards his uncle who just killed his dad and is marrying his mom to take over as king.
Right. I just, like, So would you say that, like, what's the word I'm looking for? For lack of a better word, like, the overly dramatic representation of what we as, like, just average people would do, is that kind of what Shakespeare's doing? So Freud's able to abstract the, like, core essence of, like, what, like, a normal person would do, like, what's his, like, core intention?
Probably.
Because I'm getting caught up in, like, the whole, and I don't remember it very well at all. It's been a while. I mean,
you want to talk about overreaction, we can talk about Romeo and Juliet.
Right, like, that's what I'm talking about, is, like, the whole, like, oh, I think my lover has maybe died, so
I'm just gonna
might as well just, like, off myself.
Yeah.
Like, completely with, like, but Hamlet kind of follows, like, similar obscurities like that.
Well, and then, like, if you break it down to what's really happening, you can say like, yeah, these guys only knew each other for, I think it was a couple days or something, or
Sure.
a couple weeks. It wasn't very long,
Right.
and then they ended up killing themselves. But you can also look at it as just like the two star-crossed lovers.
Right. But I mean, I feel like
And
when you water it down too much, you're missing like the reality of what's literally happening. Like, don't get me wrong, like falling in love quick, like I think that's something like Christians, conservatives, we just kind of do. But so like I feel like we can understand falling in love quick and like just knowing. But like they still like literally killed themselves, which I know is like the over dramatic aspect of it, but
and
I feel
think,
like
but I think it's over dramatic in a specific way
uh-huh.
where I think it's supposed to be kind of relatable. And who knows, it's different times also.
That's
So
true.
we don't want to fall into the same mistake as Peterson, but
and that's why I wanted to bring it back to like The Boys, because that's like right now.
right. Well, I mean, I think even with Romeo and Juliet, we can all relate to the feelings, and maybe they are exaggerated, but you can relate to like the sorrow of what they go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like King Lear is my favorite one. It's super cool.
I don't know that one at all.
There's this king. He has 3 daughters. 2 of them, it's been a while. 2 of them pretty much suck up to him. And he ends up giving them like all the land and everything.
Okay.
And those 2 betray him. And the one that didn't suck up to him is the one that remains loyal to him. And it's just like it's a really good story. It's interesting.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't have much of a taste for Shakespeare.
It's tough to get past the archaic language.
Dude, I didn't even have to read it. We had those because it was in junior year of English, right? So we had those like double books where it's like
the translated
ye olde
version.
and like American.
Yeah.
And like our English teacher was like, guys, do your best to like, read the original Shakespeare. And I was like, yeah, I won't understand the book if I read that.
Yeah. No, I used to have memorized Hamlet's soliloquy about the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
I just remember weird things like "what you egg."
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
That is a Shakespeare quote, and it's
classic.
It's actually my life motto. What you egg? Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below. And if you liked the video, give us a like. If you really liked it, you could even go subscribe to our channel. And if you didn't understand the video, don't worry, I didn't either. There's a link to the full video down in the description below. Thanks for watching.